Oh, we're back. We are back. We were in the wrong room originally.
Yeah. We were hanging out in tomorrow's show?
We were almost going to go live on tomorrow's show. I thought that's weird.
Our show. I don't even think we're on that one.
I was like, where are all the people waiting? And StreamYard goes, not today, bud. So one of the Discord members said we should be sponsored by Jersey Mike's, so that's our new sponsor. We landed them today.
Big things happening in the RPS extended universe. I'm a big fan of the Jersey Mike's at LAX.
Yeah.
It's one of the few food options in the LAX terminal that I always fly from Los Angeles to New York at. So shout out Jersey Mike's. I think it's a pretty objectively clear cut above Subway, I would say, right? Like, I don't even think it's much of a discussion at this point. I think they're kind of elevating above most other sandwich shops, wouldn't you say?
I don't eat sandwiches. I don't eat anything.
Wiley doesn't eat carbs. Wiley hasn't had a carb since like 2004.
But I can tell you, Jersey Mike's makes a mean hoagie. And,
it does.
And what's the code? Andy 15. You get your choice of bread. Is that you get?
Yeah, Andy 15 for 15% off a sandwich.
You like the sandwich is cut down to 85% of its size.
Yeah, at a reduced rate.
And the guy just eats it in front of you. All right, so a lot of Kirshner spottings last week, by the way.
Oh my God, it's a busy week, man. It's a busy week.
And a Showdown Kings hat. A Showdown Kings hat was actually, I don't have one here. Too popular. Saw one at Riv on 18. That was good for the horse racing syndicate. I will say this. Number one, I wish that Xander and Cantlay would have guts. Number one. Number two, I wish that there would be reporting about Cantlay having 100-degree fever prior to round 4, which made sense. Everyone else was wearing short sleeves, right? He didn't look good. He looked off.
No.
Here's the thing with the PGA Tour. Typically, we're used to the younger, inexperienced non-tour winners collapsing in big moments. And then you had Xander and Cantlay playing absolutely mid-golf. And Hideki Matsuyama goes back to his round at Firestone from 2017 and shoots the course record. He was unstoppable.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, Xander and Cantlay continue to be cash cows for me from a statistical perspective. They're the most complete golfers on the PGA Tour.
No doubt.
From a stats perspective. Now, they win way below what their expectations should be. And I made this joke in the Discord, but something seems to happen with Xander. I experienced the same phenomenon, except the only difference is golf is not my full-time job, but I experience like what feels like the same phenomenon that happens to Xander on Sundays, where I've never shot under par at my home golf course. I've shot even par like 25 times, but every time I get under par at my golf course, this like existential weird feeling happens to my body where it's like, oh, you're uncomfortable. You shouldn't be here. Like, must make bogey now to get back to even par where you should be. And that's kind of what feels like happens to Xander when he touches the lead. The guy holes out an incredible bunker shot for eagle on 11.
Yes.
And
which kind of random. I mean, still, he wasn't playing great. He got the birdie on 10.
Sure. But that was a huge swing right there because Cantlay's still struggling at that point. Cantlay misses a short eagle putt inside 10 feet.
Oh.
Hideki and Zalatoris are kind of going through this bear of 12 to 15, kind of the hardest stretch on the golf course.
Xander had his foot in the neck at that point.
Yeah, so Xander gets tied for the lead with that eagle. Yeah. And then he proceeds to bogey the next 3 holes. Now, that's the toughest stretch of golf on Riviera, but none of them were even close. Like, he didn't even have par looks inside 10 feet on any of those holes, and he was completely out of the hole with his first drive. So, listen, I've said in the Discord, I play those guys a lot. Xander was under-owned this week. Cantlay was under-owned this week too. Anytime they're in the top 10, it's going to be a good week for me, and it was a very good week for me at Riviera.
Here's
But
the thing that I feel like, one, with Cantlay and Xander, Cantlay, it's been, could not be talked about enough in terms of his routine and the time he takes over the ball, especially putting. But Xander has a lot of tension pre-swing too, don't you find?
yeah, and I'm so glad that this was vindicated by a lot of people that have been like, Cantlay being slow is the dumbest narrative in golf. Like, if you actually follow these guys, particularly inside the ropes, like, you realize that Cantlay is so much faster than Xander Schauffele. Like, it's not even close how much faster.
Grip.
So much, and I had Rappaport text me the same thing. Like Xander's so much slower than Cantlay. So I'm glad that people are starting to come around on, like, Xander is the true one that we need to be talking about here in terms of pace of play.
I got to admire, because Xander is sort of a never play for me. So I've got to admire your devotion to him, because, listen, Riviera is the best, one of the best non-major courses on tour. The players believe that as well. Why? Because it tests the all-round skill level, everything: driving, irons, short irons, around the replay, especially, and putting. I mean, you cannot get away at this course without having touch around the greens. You cannot. I mean, Jason Day hit a shot on Ford in the right rough, Kikuya, that for a normie would have been a double, triple bogey easily. Getting it within 15 feet was a miracle shot. He gets to 9 feet, makes the putt and pars. There are very few people in the moment that can make that shot under that pressure. And that's what elevates the best golfers to win this tournament, is because they can make that shot. Hideki, Cantlay, Xander, Will Zalatoris, even he's got touch around the green. This sort of taught me what guys are coming into form for Augusta, and what guys have that magical touch on very firm and very fast conditions, with undulations, with elevation changes. And who does it? Masters guys. Hideki, former winner. Cantlay always performs well. Xander, Will Zalatoris,
DJ, Cam Smith has been good here. Like, the list goes on and on
and on and on. And then Watson, Sam Burns. I loved him last week prior to the Thursday, but if I was going to knock him for something, it's maybe that touch. Cameron Young, he's a difficult guy to follow because he doesn't make the big putts. Tom Hoagie, though, I mean, keep an eye out on him for him.
Agreed.
So that is the good thing. It's unlike this week, which you could talk about Mexico this week, but that is the type of course that is major ready, that really accentuates the best of the best players and their best skill set. And you're not going to get a random winner at Riviera. I mean, and now Hideki's in form, so there's goes a bunch of money we're going to waste on him for the next 5 weeks.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you too. And I promise we'll get to Mexico in a second, but I think you brought up such an interesting point about how what we saw at Riviera this week was really the best litmus test to the type of test that we are going to see at Augusta in 2 months. The Masters is coming right up. It's, I think, less than 2 months away now. And a lot of the golf that they play in Florida is not going to be very indicative of the same type of tests that they're going to face at Augusta, both from a skill set standpoint and agronomically as well. So, like, heading into, we'll say, 2 months out from the Masters, what's your top 3 power rankings? What changed for you potentially this week, watching at Riviera? were there any risers and any obvious fallers in terms of who you have the most confidence heading into Riviera? Because I have maybe three major takeaways of risers and fallers for me, but I want you to go first.
I mean, I think, although Willsey left a ton of short-ish putts on the course.
Yeah, but he's still, I got to say, Wiley, I observed this. I think there's a decent chance that, and the stats bear this out as well, I think there's a decent chance that while Zalatoris was injured and he couldn't swing his full swing and practice at full swing, it looks like he's put a lot of work into his short game. Okay. And the stats bear this out as well. Zal has had 3 really good short game performances to start the season. So if that's an area of Zal's game that he has improved upon during this extended layoff, watch out bigly. Sorry to interrupt there.
No, that's fine. I mean, I am probably my number one favorite player on tour is Will Zalatoris, because he is number one in guts. I mean, he just gets this look in his eye. You comp it to guys who break down when they have the lead. This cat is a killer. I mean, he's a killer, and he does everything so well. He always performs well in majors. I think he has the best performances for a non-winner in majors out of the entire field. He's a riser. Cantlay is a riser for me. I always said that he will be one guy who, I mean, again, flawless game. Xander, he does well at Augusta. I'm going to have to include him. Hideki now. The fallers for me, I mean, Burns, question marks for him in terms of his touch around the green. And I could be wrong. Scheffler, if he cannot figure out how to putt.
So that's the guy I was going to talk about. Yeah.
And then you talked about Scheffler, and the last one is Rory. Yep. Rory will be the 23% free square that everyone believes is going to win at Augusta. And I'm a huge fan of Rory, but if you saw him in the interview after, when he was doing play-by-play after his round, and that he was asked to comment about Cantlay, and they've had their back and forth here over the last year. You know, he's just, Rory basically, well, he didn't basically say, he said, he's not a guy I respect or like or agree with or go about my life like, right? So there is definitely tension between those two cats, at least from Rory's comments alone. He doesn't feel something's wrong. And then Scheffler, again, you know, if he could putt even better than half the field, he was 51st or 50th out of the 50 guys who made the cut. It's a question mark for me. I don't know. If he does turn it on, no one can beat him.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Scheffler and Rory, because those were the two guys I want to talk about. And then I'm also glad you touched on Zalatoris, because I think you have to feel a lot better about Zalatoris's chances at the Masters after what we saw at Riviera. And even just hearing him echo, like, this guy is, from a statistical standpoint, a poor man's Brooks Koepka, in the sense that he raises his baseline on tougher golf courses, on bigger events, more so than any other player on the current PGA Tour.
In bigger moments.
In bigger moments. And so to see Riviera once again bring out the best of him was incredibly encouraging. Now, with Scheffler, in my opinion, this has to be rock bottom for him from a putting standpoint. And I caught a little bit of him on Thursday. And, you know, there were shots of this on the telecast as well. So it didn't even take being there in person to observe this, but I saw a lot more visible frustration from Scheffler surrounding the putter. And the stats bore that out as well. Over the 51 guys who made the cut, he was second to last in this entire field in putting. And he's got 2 tournaments to get some momentum with the putter before he heads back to Augusta. And I am fascinated. I'm not going to say I would be surprised, because I think he's so stubborn at this point that he may not make any changes. But if he is going to try something different with the putter, and I don't know how long of a sample size we need, it's been over a year now where this club has been holding him back from potentially one of a generational run in terms of wins and what he's doing from a ball striking standpoint. If we don't see him with a broomstick, a different grip, a mallet, anything, a different coach at Bay Hill and players, and he just rolls with the status quo into Augusta, I'm going to be very surprised because I don't know how much longer of this he can take.
Not many guys can finish top 10 at Riviera and have a 50th last place putting performance. That's how good he is still ball striking.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then just to put a bow on Rory, because I promise we'll get to Mexico here in a second.
You already promised that, and we're not there yet.
And we're not there. Broken promises, but head over to Jersey Mike's and we'll make it up to you.
We're going to make a detour to Utah first and then go to Mexico. Head over to Jersey Mike's, grab yourself 75
sandwich. By the time you get back, we'll be talking about Mexico. So as a Rory fan, as somebody that is
totally
attending the Masters this year with my father for the first time, something we've been talking
about.
Something we've been talking about since I was like 5 years old.
That's awesome.
And something I, as a tortured sports fan, a Knicks fan, and a Rory fan, there isn't a sports thing that I want to happen more in my life than to be there in person with my father to see Rory winning the Masters. Now, if I'm putting my positive hat on, I do disagree with you unless he has an awesome Florida, that the buzz around Rory at the Masters this year, if he doesn't pull something out of his ass in Florida, which he very may well could. Bay Hill's a great course for him and he's won the Players. I think expectations will be quelled this year, Wiley, because we're talking 66 at Pebble Beach. And
where's he playing before the Masters? What's the last tournament he's going to
play? It's not Quail Hollow, is it? That's before PGA.
He's playing San Antonio.
Oh yeah, is he though? Do we know that for a fact?
He said it on air. He said, "I'm gonna play TPC San Diego beforehand," because they're like, "Well, what's your prep like?" He's like, "I like to play the week before, so I'm going to play." It's the Valero, right?
Right. God, I hope he stinks.
No, that's the thing. He's going to top 3, top 2, win it. And here comes the steam, 23, 25%. I mean, he's 18%. I mean, I think that regardless, just by name alone.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm just saying
I agree with you.
He's been sub 15 the last 2 weeks in these elevated fields. And that's not with a Brooks Koepka in the field. That's always going to get ownership at a major. That's not with a John Rahm in the field. That's always going to get ownership at a major. That's not with a Cam Smith in the field. That's always going to get ownership at Augusta. DJ is actually starting to show some signs of life. And I do think there's a large fragment of the population. Maybe it's just my Twitter bubble that loves to give me shit as a Rory fan. But I do think that they're, just like a lot of people, myself included, are like kind of done with Xander and Cantlay at majors in terms of I'm going to pick this guy to win. A lot of people are there on Rory. A lot of people are like, dude, we've been doing this for 10 years. Like, I don't really know what more you need to see on Rory at a major championship. Like, he's now leaving the athletic prime of his career. He's completely in his head at Augusta. And we've been doing this for 10 years, guys. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And that is how I would characterize my relationship to Rory. Insanity. So, I gotta say, with Rory and Scheffler, because we're only going to see Rahm like at one more time, I think, in Jeddah, but the two big guys on the PGA Tour, one of them is statistically one of the worst putters on the PGA Tour. And the other one is Rory, who didn't look good at Riv, didn't look good at Pebble, seems to be in his head about Augusta. It's gonna be it's fun. We're getting into the sweet spot here.
This is exactly right. And I could have specific examples. I've got the two big ones, Royal Portrush, right? He was supposed to,
Yeah.
that was, I mean, he was the odds on favorite. And I think one of the first holes of the first hole, he quad or tripled.
He's done it at the Masters multiple
He's done the
times.
Masters. I mean,
Yeah.
that's there's so it's not like young freewheeling Rory. The amount of pressure and the time window that he's got is, I think he's a thinker, right? And I think it's all in his head. And the older he gets and the window as it closes, the pressures only get greater. I mean, sometimes you can see it with Thomas too. It's like when you're young and you're 22 and you don't give a shit, you got nothing to lose. That's why these young guys win so quickly. And it's like, oh shit, how do I carry this on? I mean, even Steve. I mean,
yeah.
Like,
that's the one guy we didn't mention too is JT. What a heat check for the JT is back narrative.
Because and it all comes down to what we first started talking about is the tension, right? It's like Brooks psychologically goes into these tournaments and majors and he finds something to antagonize him on purpose so he can play angry, and he plays better angry. Get everyone against me, so I've got no tension or pressure. If Rory everyone's carrying Rory in on a carpet when he goes to tournaments, his expectations are so high. Brooks, inversely, I don't know if he does it intentionally with his psychologist, but that's what he does. He picks a fight. He gets everyone to not like him.
Yeah.
So yeah, this week in Mexico. Oh, first of all, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We never ask anyone to do anything.
Literally ever. We don't do giveaways every show so listen.
You know what you should do? We should do between now and Augusta, because I've got gear at my house that's still in the blister pack.
Yeah.
You can't get this stuff unless you're at the course.
Yeah, I'll do Augusta giveaways for sure.
Augusta
I'll do tons. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
To a subscriber or a liker.
Yep. I don't know if we can track I don't know if you can look at the people that like.
Yeah, I can. If I go to Jersey Mike's, I can just sit down and use their internet and do it. I'll go through every like. Yeah, so we'll do that before I go. So subscribe. Okay, now Mexico, hit it, baby.
Subscribe. Yeah. Thank you for letting me shoehorn 15 minutes of Rory at Augusta into a Mexico Open.
Is that podcast. Kobe's working? Is he at the window today?
That's what podcasting with me is like, which you'll come to realize. I'll find a way to shoehorn Rory at Augusta in there. Okay, Mexico Open. I did a very extensive course breakdown up on runpuresports.com right now. So I'm going to keep this brief because I want to make sure we talk about this interestingly unique pricing. But what I will say about Mexico is I love weeks like this. I up my exposure on weeks like this. I'm really excited because I haven't been at Run Pure Sports yet for a tournament with a truly bad field. This is really my bread and butter because what I am best at is generally being able to identify stuff in the numbers with unheralded players. And that is what we have this week is very unheralded players. And we have a very unique golf course in the sense that it is incredibly long, but that does not mean that it's difficult at all. And I think that the narrative of you have to hit the ball a long way off the tee, there's certainly some merit to that. I would be careful with inflated ownership on guys that just look at driving distance when long iron play is a far more requisite skill set here. But this is a Paspalum resort golf course, 23 under, 24 under. Maybe we get some wind. We can talk about weather as we get closer to the start date. The weather looks okay now. I played a lot of golf in Paspalum. I don't like it personally. I'm actually supposed to go to Mexico soon, maybe, and be able to play some more golf down there, flex. flex number 4 on the
Yeah.
podcast.
We're trying to get to number 10.
I actually don't think I'm going to be able to go because of work, but maybe. Point being,
and I work at NASA 5.
Like I'm designing a rocket ship. I'm actually
I'm working on my Lambo.
Yeah, Run Pure Sports is really my part-time gig. I'm full employed by the NASA Research Center. Okay. Anyway, point being, it's a birdie fest with a lot of bad players, and you would want to identify players that have played well in these past Palm Resort tropical golf courses, power off the tee, long iron play. And I think we'll have an opportunity this week. Certainly.
Was Zalatoris in this field and is gone now? I swear to God, I saw him in this field.
Yeah, he was. He had I got texted this from our friend Keith Stewart. So big time condolences to Will Zalatoris, which actually makes his performance this week more important. It appears that he lost like a very close family member on Thursday or Friday of Riviera week. So my guess is that he would be getting to choose, attending a funeral or being with his family over playing Mexico.
Yeah, it was a struggle to watch that interview afterwards. I wish they would have said, listen, just go take some time.
Right.
But kudos to him for being honest about what was going on. And he still played fantastic. I mean, that's just the kind of player he is. He's just all guts. But the field this week, yeah, I mean, there's a lot I like. I see a lot of Finau in the comments already.
Yeah.
Another cult, but Finau is a different golfer than he has been over the last few years when you could count on Finau for getting a lot of scoring. I'm not saying he's a bad play this week, and I'm not saying 12K is a bad price for him. He's the best player in the field. He's got the best resume certainly, and he's won here. He's finished top 2.
Right. And is Finau at 12 a better play than Griot at 11.1? Like I think Griot at 11.1 puts Finau 12 more into perspective.
Oh yeah. It doesn't mean I won't play Finau. Almost said the one I like is, but this week screams Dietrich to me. I think that
I like Dietrich too.
He's here or near ready in that range to win or do something. Watching him swing a club like Adam Scott, only maybe longer off the tee at Pebble Beach. He's super, super impressive. I think that he could destroy a course like this in this field, in my opinion. And Højgaard, I mean, first hole Thursday, Højgaard with a birdie. We said that's it. I mean, I think he went 300 there's 3. But Riviera is not a course that you can maintain that pace for 4 days. But I like him too. I like the pricing up there for those guys. I'm not a huge Grillo fan, but yeah, I mean, I think it's and you jump down to the 9s, and you could talk about this here because I read your article today, Steven Jaeger.
Yeah,
another guy that what was it? Torrey Pines almost won.
Yeah, wide open. I mean, another low miss fairway penalty driver heavy golf course. Yeah, he's good. He's good in Mexico.
He's very good iron player. And I forget what playing partner he had back when he was on Korn Ferry, but basically when Steven Jaeger gets the lead, he's gonna bite down. He's gonna be very difficult to beat. And that was from a guy who used to play with him on Korn Ferry. So yeah, I think those guys, Dietrich Jaeger, really stand out for me first. Pendrith, I'll throw it to you for Pendrith. That was one of your first players you talked about. Yeah, I like him a lot.
I love Pendrith this week, but I just want to put a bow real quick on the Tony Finau conversation because this has been such an interesting tournament from a daily fantasy perspective the past 2 years where we've had John Rahm in the field and John Rahm has been like 40% each of the last 2 years in this. And now we don't have Rahm. And I'm just curious to ask you, do you think Finau, I don't think anyone would argue that Finau is the player that John Rahm is, but I think maybe you could argue that the delta between Rahm and Finau is maybe similar to the delta between Finau and Griot. So do you think that, especially with, 31 golfers now under 6K, did DraftKings, like, what was in their coffee this morning? Like, you're just going to break out 5K golfers at the Mexico Open? I just no, I don't hate it. They did this for the Open Championship too, and I actually like it. I think it makes the decision process a little bit a little bit more I mean, there's more potential for strategy and game theory and thinking about what you want to do at a slate like this when there's a wider gap in pricing between the highest and the lowest guy, and there's bigger gaps.
Yeah. I
But
think
but
I
what do
know.
you think Finau comes in at 12?
Well, part of the DK Council meetings, Flex, that we are leading with Bob Doherty, who's the greatest, just the greatest guy, and he's really collaborative in terms of contest reformatting, sizing, or just growth. And he let us know that this is coming in terms of price below 6K because it does add a different level of strategy. It allows you to play heavy, which people will. If Finau was the only big stud up there at the price, and then you had some mid players below it, I would be, he's probably going to be 30s. But Højgaard has a big following. He's very good. Dietrich and Jaeger are both guys people are going to smash. I can't get behind the Olesen number. I don't understand it.
Yeah, he's been crushing it on the DP World Tour.
Okay.
He really has been. Yeah.
We've seen how well that's gone for Dumont de Charset.
Yeah, right. But Pavone is kind of like, is Pavone who everybody wanted ADDC to be?
But you have some names like I'm forbidden from saying JB Holmes, but JB Holmes is Stone Min 5K.
You guys have fun with that. Yeah.
My cousin Austin Wiley, I would play him. But yeah, I think it really changes the dynamic with stars and scrubs, and people are going to lean into it probably a lot more. You even have like a Snedeker down there, right? A guy. Ghost jammed this guy. If I said JB Holmes, Ghost jammed was gone. So I tested that theory.
I don't want to lose. Ghost Jam's like one of my favorite Discourse members, so we got to find a way. I don't want to alienate Ghost Jammed. I found myself building more balance this week when I was just doing some first feels with the lineups. Like I don't know if I'm gonna have. Shout out Jersey Mike's in the LAX airport. There you go, Brian. I bet you got that jersey. I bet you got that Jersey Mike's at LAX, didn't you, buddy? I wonder if you used the code, right?
What do you think Brian gets on a Jersey Mike's? Starts with salami, then goes to provolone, another layer of salami, another layer of provolone, mid-rare roast beef, provolone, meatballs, provolone.
Yeah,
provolone.
I could see him going. I mean, Brian, comment on this, but I could see you going one of their creations versus making their own, just going chalk, making it easy on the fabulous employees of Jersey Mike's.
Did Brian eat it on the plane? Like these nose whistlers who bring from, if I go to LaGuardia on a cross-country flight,
yeah,
they bring Sbarro on the plane.
Right. It really depends on
at 9 a.m.
Yeah. I mean,
you're hateful.
Yeah, I mean, if you eat like a meatball sub, on, a messy meatball sub on a plane, you should,
at
literally
8:30 Eastern time,
literally just be on the no-fly list. But
yes, exactly.
But okay, yeah. So Jaeger, Pendrith, Dietrich. I find myself fading Højgaard, Griot, and Finau just on first luck. Now that could change based on ownership. Yeah, you did eat Chick-fil-A and then you cut it out, this new diet.
Yeah, I needed to. So, I mean, Saul Goodman got me. I'd never eaten Chick-fil-A in my life until this past year. He said, you need to try a sandwich. And I became almost clinically problem addicted to having one at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah. I'm at 4 flexes and I somehow need to get to 10 by the end of the show. So I'm going to hit you with number 5 right now.
What is it? You own Chick-fil-A? You're an investor? Oh.
Brian and I actually met the CEO of Chick-fil-A on the golf course. He was playing at Oak Hill when we were there. And he gave us a free, he just hands out the CEO of Chick-fil-A. He just hands out these free sandwich cards to everyone he meets. He says, I'm the CEO of Chick-fil-A, have a sandwich. And he flew into Rochester to play 1 round of golf on his Chick-fil-A jet and then flew out.
What's that?
Oh shit. You've got it on you right now. Okay.
Here's the reason why. I tried to order it for my daughter at home, who's with the babysitter, and it defaulted to my office, so it came here. So it was a good little setup and bit.
Yeah, that's smart. Okay.
Jaeger,
yeah, I like those guys a lot.
You know who's a really good golfer? And I'm not sure his status for Augusta, but some of these Canadians performed really well. Corey Connors, on my radar, obviously. Nick Taylor, on my radar, obviously. Pendrith, he's Canadian, right?
Yep. Are you going to hit us with Mackenzie Hughes?
Yes. He's a killer. He's a really good player. He's got really good touch. He's obviously a great putter. I mean, Mackenzie Hughes can fucking score at 9,400 after last week. I mean, there could be some. I mean, that's a tough. You were on the course. It's a tough course to walk, right? I mean, the walk up the stairs after 18 is tough enough.
Yeah, it's pretty undulating.
Are you factoring that in this week? Strokes gained too many stairs from last week?
I don't love the guys that played Phoenix Rev here.
Okay.
That's a lot to me. Like Chuck Hoffman.
I'm done.
I'm good. I think you had your time in the sun.
You know, like Kevin, you know when we've gassed this to the max. Carl, you won. It's
you know what it's time to hop off.
Yeah, have a good one.
So yeah, I mean, my favorites in this range, as I mentioned, Jaeger, Pendrith, and Dietrich. Brandon Wu, who I played high school golf with. That's number 6. Deerfield kid. Brandon Wu has finished 2nd and 3rd here in his last 2 appearances. I don't know if he's deserving of 9,100, but kind of the Prince of Paspalum. So I think that's going to be a fascinating.
Whoa! Did you just invent that? Because I've had a Prince of Paspalum for 7 years.
Well, it's always been Victor, but I'm gonna
Pat Perez.
Okay.
He used to go to these courses in Malaysia and just destroy. 4 a.m. and he's up by 50. He literally has never met this person. I am deceased.
This is not true. I literally played against him in high school matches, and I won.
A little.
I did not. I did not win.
A little squabble.
I did not. I absolutely did not win. Okay, where are we at on
Jake Knapp?
Jake Knapp. Yeah,
absolutely Jake Knapp.
Okay. Yeah. 8,700 Jake Knapp. Are we there yet? Feels a little like, give me Chris. Are we sure Jake Knapp's better than Chris Gotterup? Just asking questions.
Yes. Okay. You're better than Chris Gotterup.
I love Chris Gotterup.
Everyone knows that. We talked about it offline.
Awesome. Yeah. Chris Gotterup's awesome player. But yeah, I think Knapp is going to be, gosh, let me ask you, Wiley, like, do you think Knapp is going to be the highest owned in the 8s? Because another thing I was worried about is I highlighted Davis Thompson on my Sunday pod. I love Davis Thompson. And it was another one of those times. It wasn't like last week where I talked about Xander and people were like, you're crazy. I got a lot of with you on Davis Thompson messages. So I just want to throw a feeler out there that I was first to the Davis Thompson party recording this podcast on Saturday, but I don't know if he's going to be, unfortunately, sneaking up on anybody this week.
I don't think this, because if people go barbell here, which I think they'll probably do that with a Finau and then another stud with some lower price. I don't see this range of price having a ton of chalk. Probably the highest owned in that range is Knapp. Cameron Champ has done well here. You want a guy that can let it loose and sort of get away with mediocre parts of his game. Plus, he can putt. I mean, he just shows up sometimes. I mean, he won the Safeway in Napa from the clouds.
He's been really good here. Really, really good here.
Tends to do that. I don't know if anyone in the eights is really going to blow it apart in that price range, though. If you're going to calculate who you want to slam, people love Mark Hubbard. They love that dude.
Yeah,
I have a dog.
He's not in the eights. He's 9K. Yeah, I told her you have a dog.
Hang on, I'll pull up a photo. Just go ahead, keep going, carry the show.
I will say this too. Like, I think this happened last week where I knew that if you could get off the Adam Scott 8.2 chalk, one of those guys in the low eights, right below Scott, was going to hit. And it was last week. It was Tom Kim, Jason Day. I forgot who the Hojgaard were, the three guys that were like a quarter of the ownership of Adam Scott. Jason Day was the guy that hit. He was on my big lineup last week. I think we'll see something similar this week again, where this low eights, because of the way people build, will get neglected. And
that's my dog. Hey, Natalie, you know my dog's my dog's name is? Her name
What's your dog's name?
It's Tank.
Looks like a tank.
There you go. That's my dog, Natalie. Is Andy not a dog person? You don't like dogs? You don't like dog person?
I love dogs. My dog's not the background of my phone anymore. I'll pull it up in a second. But so Michael Kim, Justin Suh, Austin Eckroat.
Yeah.
Just watch out for that low eights. I think Matt McNeely.
Justin Suh is always on my radar.
I like Suh. I like Suh a lot this week.
And you know what? You know what? At the end of Thursday, when you looked at him, didn't play him, looked at him, didn't play him, you know who's going to be leading is Chesson Hadley. That dude. The snappy dude, right? He's almost torched us in a few weeks this year because he's actually been playing pretty well. I will not be leaving him out. Or Vegas. Love Johnny B.
I love Vegas too. Alex Smalley, buy low spot for my guy Alex Smalley. Shout out Duke, flex number 7. I gotta get to 10.
Cash out the over because it's coming.
Nate Lashley, I like a lot. I like Nate Lashley a lot. Your guy JJ Spawn at 7.2, I think is a really good buy low spot on JJ Spawn, who's really underpriced. And part of the reason why Spawn's stats haven't looked as good is because same with Smalley. Spawn and Smalley have been playing actually in these elevated events. Okay. So yeah, they haven't been playing great at Riviera, Pebble Beach, but now they're actually getting to a field that's way more their speed. So I think it's a really good buy low spot on both Smalley and Spawn. Who do you like in the 7s? Yeah, Sig. I like Sig too, Fighting Irish a lot.
Sig, I saw a player commented to me about Sig. He played with him. He said he just keep an eye on him. He's just sort of a bruiser. He's old school.
Yeah.
Pretty good around the green game touch, but just sort of like doesn't give a fuck, fearless. Listen, this is going to be very tough because you got Cage Lee, you got Bjork, world's best iron player. You love Goddard. Andrew Novak. He had a great week.
First round later. Yeah.
Novak can putt lights out. Bramlett performed well here. Bramlett, big time off the tee. Kazire, if you go down to the sixes. I had one guy I really was thinking about low six. We're in the sixes now, but
Wiley's the king of like, Wiley, who do you like in the sevens? Let me talk about the sixes.
Yeah. Because I have these names and I'm going to forget this because I'm senile. Too much Jersey Mikes. Is Kevin Chappell. Kevin Chappell at 6K. If you want to do the barbell build, if you want to go high end, low end, Kevin Chappell is a stud. Period. Sorry. For the sevens, though, I just gave you the names. Vegas, of course, a lot. And keep my eye on Novak, like Spawn. Sig, keep my eye on. Stallings was really disappointing. I guess it was Torrey. Was it Torrey Pines?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's 7-3. Miscut Scott. There's some mispricing down here, man. That's why I think the eights are going to be skipped over a little bit because these guys are just as good.
Yeah, it's so interesting. This 7K range, it's just not big because of the fact that they're pricing 30 guys below 59. And I actually like a lot of these guys. Carson Young, Alex Smalley, Johnny Vegas, Nate Lashley, Spawn, Sig, Novak. I just gave you 6 bangers in there.
I've got the play of the year down in the sixes, by the way. You thought Chappell was
Sam Stevens too. I didn't even notice Sam Stevens because Stevens was I didn't even mention Norman. So if I find myself going very balanced this week, Wiley. Like I think I could very well see myself. Like I just built a lineup right now. The first immediate reaction in my mind when I saw pricing, I built a lineup that goes Pendrith 9.6, 2 guys in the 8s, 3 guys in the mid to high 7s. And I'm just curious if that's a build that a lot of people go to this week, because I actually find myself saying, gosh, there may be everybody's going to look at say, oh my God, we have so many cheap guys. Let me try and figure out a way how to get Finau in with all of these cheap guys that we've never heard of before. And it actually maybe turns out that this low 8s, as you mentioned, and mid to high 7s, where there's actually like good golfers that I trust. Remember, this is a cut event. So, think twice before you play Chandler Phillips at 5,900 or Max Greiserman or Patrick Fishburne. Unbelievable how I know those guys' first names, or Fred Biondi.
Natalie, yes. And by the way, Natalie gave you your 8th flex because she talks about going to high school in Connecticut. So you work as a combo. That's it.
We did go to high school in Connecticut. Yeah.
That's 9. All right. So how do you get a hat? Yes. Give Natalie a hat. Look at this. It's a camo. It's the new logo. It is Richardson. You can sign it if you want. No, here's how you do it. So we did like and subscribe. That's for a Augusta gear pack for one of our subscribers on YouTube. Number two is going to be, you got to wear it backwards too. That's the cool thing. See, that's never worn. You'll get a never worn hat. No, here's what you need to do in the comment section now. I have a play. I said Chappell. Chappell's not this player. I have a play of the absolute year in the 6Ks.
Okay.
In the comment section, start naming. The first person to name this person while we talk is going to get this hat. Ghost Jam won.
I will throw in.
He won. Ghost Jam won.
Well, he knows because I think he probably incepted. He probably listened to the podcast and read the article and knows that I'm a big Lauer fan too. Do you have a backup option? Here's what we'll do. We'll send because I have a couple extra hats too. We'll send Ghost Jam to hat no matter what.
Yeah.
But do you have a backup option? There's one other guy in the 6s that I'm thinking of that I think is a amazing play that I haven't mentioned on a podcast. I haven't mentioned in my article. He's in the mid to high sixes, and I think he's an amazing play. Now, if for somebody who gets this in the comment section, I will. You have to be subscribed to RPS to comment, right? Are you kidding me? They got it.
What is fucking going on?
The guys got it on their first one.
You're ruining the comment game. We're trying to live.
I was gonna try and give away.
Mason gets mine. LJ Mason gets Higo.
I was gonna try and give away, like, I didn't want to make people wait for Augusta, but I was gonna give away like an Augusta pullover when I got there. And I know Rishi's man, YW win. They both guessed Harry Hall, and it's Harry Hall. I think Harry Hall is an amazing play.
What's the distance in meters to Pluto? I don't know, Natalie. What do you want? Like,
how did you guys get?
Are
they
Harry in this Hall? Room right now?
How'd you guys get Harry Hall? Yeah, Nuts on Islands courses.
I would have guessed 35 golfers before I said Harry freaking Hall. And then someone was it Rishi?
Yeah, Rishi knows, man. He knows. Why win? Is that how you pronounce it? He is a great play.
It's too sharp. Too sharp.
This can't go well this week if we're all aligned. Although,
do you know who leads the tour in strokes gained around the green?
I have a couple. Try me.
Okay, Kentucky. He's from Kentucky.
Oh, darn it. I was gonna guess Matt Kuchar, but what sample size this season?
Yeah, year to date.
Josh Teeter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just knew that because he was from Kentucky.
You want a dude that wants to win more than anyone in the United States of America? 5,400, Josh Teeter. He'll make a cut. He will make a cut.
Interesting. Yeah, Bobby Mack popped for me too, just because he's a really good long iron player. I don't know if he'll make the final pull, but that's interesting. What is his price?
Jimmy Hahn down in 5Ks, Lipsky down in 5Ks, CT Pan down there. That's a good price. MJ Duffy had a run last year. Kevin Chappell, yes. Troy Merritt is 5,900. Troy Merritt.
Yeah.
Yes, we sell merch. Yes, there's a store, but we can stand.
Is there a store on our website?
Yeah, it's under the word store at the top of the website.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have some ideas for stuff. Maybe we can get Natalie in there as a contributing design consultant.
Yeah, for sure.
Who does it? A Big T's wife?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be in touch.
We sort of all collab, the three of us, me, Big T, and his wife, on style, fashion, things like that.
When are we going to get Big T on one of these shows? Why has he just been like ducking the golf streets?
You can't take it. You can't take the heat. That's why. That's the bat signal, by the way. When he says do that, he'll come in right in like 30 seconds. He'll be so mad I said that.
Right, because I wanted to talk to him about the True Detective finale. Second of all, football's over. So what's the excuse? Like, he was grinding NBA DFS All-Star Game?
He was, actually.
Which I guess he's really good at, from what I've heard.
Shit. I know exactly what it is. It's we have got NASCAR coming up in 32
Daytona 500. Yep. Daytona 500.
Yep. So
okay.
All right. Sweet. Play of the week. I got to bounce. I forgot about NASCAR. Who's your winner right now?
Pendy. I'm sticking with Taylor Pendrith. And Rishi and Y-Win both got Harry Hall. So I will be in touch about a hat. And I always keep my
Stewie.
Just remind me before Augusta to get some Augusta gear.
Mondo Angelucci. You'd make your cousin very disappointed that you don't like Troy Merritt. Troy Merritt will go. He nukes par fives. This is perfect for him.
Yeah, I got you. Y-Win. I'm a man of my word.
Yes. And who does this go to? Ghost Jam? Ghost Jam? Your buddy? Ghost Jam? Your number one Discord guy? I'll tell the Discord that today. that Ghost Jam is Andy's favorite. I don't have any favorites in this.
I don't have any favorites
everyone.
either. I just
You just said it.
Ghost Jam's he's just a good contributor to the Discord. Like I like his presence. It doesn't mean he's my favorite. There's a lot of guys that I would put in the Ghost Jam tier, but I think he is, in my opinion, like tier A Discord member.
My favorite's Nice Kevin. There you go.
Nice Kevin's in the mix as well. Like easily. Nice Kevin, Ghost Jam, K Reed, Rishi. Like there's a lot of guys in that tier.
I want them to fight for our attention next week.
Stewie's
awesome.
I love Stewie.
Yes,
I love
Stewie's
Stewie.
an icon. All right, brother.
All right,
Wednesday.
later, guys.
Wednesday.
Yep.
I got to be ready with this outro next time versus us just saying goodbye and then staring at each other like mouth breathers for like 34 seconds.